Well, Africa's got a significant number of infrastructure challenges it's currently facing, and these challenges are largely born out of the fact that there is significant economic growth in Africa at the moment, and in order to maintain and grow that economic growth, there's a requirement for further investment in infrastructure. And also in parallel with that, we are seeing a major demographic shift in Africa, and therefore people's expectations of the standard of services required, etc., are requiring further investment in infrastructure. And perhaps lastly, what we're also seeing is rapid urbanisation in the African continent, people moving from rural to cities, and again the associated challenges of infrastructure investment that brings. And market estimates are currently that infrastructure investment required is circa $90 billion over the next decade. So it's a significant investment that's required. But again, if structured properly, a lot of these projects are in fact nation building and should actually spur further economic growth. So there is a good news story from this infrastructure investment required, but there's clearly a role that we need to see governments and the private sector play to help facilitate that investment. At the moment, again, estimates are that the governments themselves have available circa $40 billion of capital across the region to actually help facilitate that infrastructure investment. So government has got capital available, but clearly that falls short of the $90 billion required. But the positive thing there is that these are challenges that are being faced by other economies across the globe, and what we've seen elsewhere is that the government has partnered with the private sector to actually invest private sector capital alongside government funds. And within the African economy, we have got a number of major infrastructure players within the region, and we've also got a number of private sector investors. So actually, within the continent, there is significant private sector capital and developer expertise looking for investment opportunities. And perhaps more, also to complement that, is we have got a significant number of international players looking at the African continent, certainly from Asia, from China, and also from Europe itself. So again, people looking for places to invest into properly structured projects with a reasonable rate of economic return for their investment. So therefore we have got that complement of private sector capital looking for a home for properly structured projects that can co-invest with the government. So there is a possible win-win scenario here if government structure the projects properly. Yeah, I think if the government could actually work with the private sector to get that rate of investment, it would be transformational on many scales. Firstly, what it would do is it would actually make the economy, the actual continent itself, have the transport, the power, and also the health, education, and water and sewage requirements that agree to actually have a fully functioning economy and actually equality to all. So it would be equality of access, which would be, so in terms it would actually significantly increase the productive capacity of the region. But what it would also do would give them much greater access to the large natural resource deposits that they have, and actually enable them to export these products on a much more efficient basis across the world. Because again, Africa is very well endowed with these natural resources, but at the moment the supply chain really lets it down in its ability to actually sell these to China, to Japan, and other resource hungry nations. Again, with this investment, that would certainly open up all these borders.